Oh yeah.
Welcome back. This is quite a sight. These are wall remains of ancient Rome in Wales. This is the town walls of Caerwent in today's video. We're going to be exploring the Roman ruins of once a city built for the Welsh tribes, the Slurs tribe, which dominated South Wales before the Roman conquest. We'll see many things as well as walking down this entire town wall, the Roman temples, the basilica, shops, etc. But before we get into that, I've got a little bit of history about Roman Wales I want to tell you about. And also, I do apologise for the Gladiator and Life of Brian references. It can't be helped. So let's go and have a look at the wall. Caerwent, now a sleepy Welsh village, was once an important town in Roman-ruled Wales. The name in Latin is Venter Syrium. It's named after the local tribe they defeated, the Slurs, and they wanted to Romanize it. The market town was founded in AD 75 and it was linked well to other towns and forts on the Roman road, which is connected to Isca Augusta, which is Caerleon, and Glevum, which is Gloucester. The first Roman buildings constructed was the Forum and Basilica, but during the rule of Hadrian, Civitas made it a market town with constructions of market buildings, baths houses, and Roman temple, rumoured to be dedicated to Mars. Well, this is the west gate of the wall. This is like where the original town limits was by here, and then this would have been manned by many centurions of Rome. And basically, the point of this tribe, they wanted to Romanize them. They wanted to get them out there they would have seen it as the Romans. The wildness of a tribe, they are savages. But then this wall's architecture protected them, because a lot of raids would come to the Romans by the Celts. And you can see how sturdy the wall is. The Celts didn't have the weaponry and catapults like the Romans did. You can see they built things that was made to last in ancient Rome. But we have to turn around because now we're going to turn the corner onto the main wall, which you can see, with the Romans, this is obviously a defensive view compared to the gate side. This vast forest behind us, and then you've got the fields. Because when we come around here now, this little guard tower outpost of the wall, we're going to take a closer look at that now. But you can clearly see that there is obviously a very defensive viewpoint here. It's one of the first ones. Clearly, this might be obviously part of one of the gates, the south gate. But you can see little guard posts these used to be, the Romans used to have. Again, arrow one could be a. Seems like the wall's architecture is surviving. So these low parts, they used to be higher. But this is actually one of the best preserved Roman walls in Europe. Even the old walls of the Byzantine Empire, Constantinople, wasn't this well known, in fairness, to survive. See the architecture is doing well to survive, fair play to her. This is a more better preserved part of the wall. We are coming up to the highest point now as well. But see more the shape with a bit more wall structure by here. And the entrance does seem a bit sealed off. But this is where it looks like inside of the tower. You gotta say, in fairness to the Romans, they knew how to defend land. They did. To conquer it, to defend it. That's what the Romans did well, in fairness. So, this is now we come up to the highest point of the walls, and this is where you can see Roman architecture at its best, at its finest here. And We're going to go to it, and we have a very, very well preserved part of the tower coming up now. This is the highest point of the structure, and this is where you can see the might of the Roman empires at its full extent. The full defensive wall of Venta Citium, which is the Latin term for Caerwent. It's huge. Like all the other parts, you see is where it's fallen down, but now you can truly see why the Romans had to defend this from the Welsh tribes. They conquered the land, they needed to solidify it, and the one thing they needed to do was build a wall. Probably to this extent. This is probably the extent that it was, but we have got a watchtower over there which is well preserved. But this is like the true extent of what the Romans architecture did. This is not even like the tip of the iceberg for the Romans, because they built basilicas, temples, homes, even their dockyards was unbelievable. But let's have a look now at this watchtower, then we'll go on top of the wall. Yeah. Only I would fall doing this, wouldn't I? Literally. Oh my god, look at the state of me. Bear in mind, this is like after this, I'm meant to be just like going out for food. I think I might have to pop into Primark in Newport to get tracksuit bottoms, and I'm not gonna lie. Go on. We'll carry on. We'll carry on. Right. Got to cut walking this wall short because I nearly fell again. I am already covered in mud as it is, but this is like the best preserved tower. We are coming up to like the entrance to get on top of the wall. I've got a girlfriend over there just in stitches, just laughing at me. But this is like the main preserved bit of the wall. But you can see like the extent of the towers as well, where they would have centurions and legionary people from Caerleon guarding it. But we'll have a close look now. This is our other side of the wall, or the tower. But there's a gap a bit further ahead on the grass. Like as long as I don't slip getting up there, it should be fine. Because we can go up onto the wall and then we go into Caerwent proper, and everyone's going to look at me like, what have I done? Like, it's not like I've went slip and slide in. It looks like a bit of damage to the wall, probably from attacks. But we're going to climb up the wall and have a look what the view would be from top of it. Well, I'm covered in absolute mud. So you can, it don't look too bad in this shot, but we are going to go up the wall by here and then head back into the town centre and see what it was actually like in Roman Caerwent. Alright, up the wall we go and see what a Roman legionary centurion would have saw as they were defending this land, the land of the Silus. That church by here is quite an interesting history because it has got something left from the Roman era. But this is the top of the wall. This is what the Romans would look at. Defending the area from any other local tribe that would have caused absolute havoc because they were savages. Entrances into the tower by here, and you can see along the wall that there is massive, and also the other side of me by here is the rest of the south wall. But we're going to go through that gate by here and up past the church because we're going to see the basilica and the temple dedicated to Mars. But before we head there, let's have a look at the next part of the history of Rome and the middle years of Caerwent. The Romans built Caerwent into an impressive town, but it did lack good defences from attacks by Welsh tribes. The Roman rulers decided to surround the town with a defensive wall. The wall was completed in the mid 4th century and a small garrison was established to protect the town. The wall stood 16 feet high and is solid. It was described to be easily the most impressive town defence to survive from Roman Britain. Now, only the south walls survive and is still standing tall, overlooking the Gwent countryside. Well, I'm outside the Roman temple dedicated to Mars, but this unassuming road right here is the old Roman road, which will link them to Glivum, which is Gloucester, and Escaragasta, which is Caerwent, but see the ancient monument. But here we go, we're going to have a good look in here, because behind here is a basilica, but you can see the old temple dedicated to Mars. We'll have a close look in a second. Welcome to the Roman temple dedicated to Mars. They did worship a lot of these gods, the same as like the Greeks in the north. They had a lot of gods they wanted to worship, but you can see like the structure still remains in the shape that the Romans had it. It would be in like some sort of like altar area that they would have used. And it's not far from the basilica, which is just over there, but we can have a little bit of a exploration of this temple. This bit by here where I'm heading into does feel almost like the main part of the temple. I feel like this is where the Romans probably had a worship room where they prayed to Mars, bring a good harvest. Almost like by here is like an altar area, which probably had a depiction of the god Mars. But it's a big temple for such a little area, to say the least. The Romans did have their worships, and we will be heading to the basilica in a second, which looks like it was one hell of a structure, because the field does have a bit of like ruins there. I still can't believe I fell over, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, this is like the long view of it. You see it's a very big area, but if this was built for the Welsh tribes, they really wanted to get worshipping Mars and any other Roman god that they knew of. But yeah, this is the Roman temple, one of many things else you would see here in Caerwent. But now we're going to head out of this temple to what is behind us trees here, which is the basilica and the Basilica Forum Field, which once had its own amphitheatre. The ruins are not there for that anymore, but let's just head back there and hopefully I don't fall over again. Welcome to the Forum Basilica. These were almost like little shopping centres or places where you gather, and this is where like the more social stuff happened. But you can see these are what's the ruins. We'll go into them and explore them now. Don't look like I'm going to slip in them, so that's a good sign. So let's head to the basilica where the bloody Romans built. That's like a Ryan reference, sorry. They were everywhere, the Romans. Like, talk about like being everywhere in the world, and this is where they were. And they marked with strength and honour, apparently. Well, according to Russell Crowe. But you can see the extent of this building near the basilica. It is It was a huge, big forum, but here we go. We're gonna walk on into the building. We have got like the shops to look at as well in this area before we end the video. But you can see the size of it, with the alleys, rooms, meeting rooms, where the Romans held many things, discussed many things. We've got a little opening by here before we have a look at the rest of the basilica. There's a bit of stone left there, which is probably worth looking at. Here's other parts, like the old alleyways. Again, this could be like another big meeting area the Romans built. You can see the extent of what they did to obviously make these tribes like Romanized. These are like Welsh-speaking Celtic tribes, but you can see some structure by here as well. There's like another structure to an old pillar that the Romans built. But they were impressive architects, the Romans. They knew how to build things and make things last. So here we are. This stone by here, it could be a pillar because of the shape on it. But could this be like the only part of the remaining pillar that held up the roof of the basilica? It does feel like it with the shape on it. See, it's carved, it's got a base, the carvings. So it does very much look like of what remains of the pillars that would have held up this giant basilica into the sky. But now we're going to turn our heads to that field, because this is what the old amphitheatre used to be. And now you will really hear the Gladiator references come out. By here is what could be like the old entrance to the amphitheatre. You can see it's like old Roman walls dotting us around by here. But welcome to the field where the amphitheatre probably stood. This is right behind the temple basilica. It's, well, this is where you're going to hear the bulk of the gladiator references to. Sort of place of Maximus Decimus Meridius would definitely fight. Well, you've got the fake gladiator like Commodus anyway, but we'll carry on. Amphitheatres, basically what modern day stadiums are based off. You have the famous one at the Rome Colosseum, you have the one in Caerwent, but they were gladiator matches would happen. And a lot of Roman emperors didn't like the gladiator matches, hence Marcus Aurelius is one of them. So you can see in Gladiator, with Commodus as the one to bring it back after Marcus Aurelius historically did end gladiator fights. But they were very popular. Obviously, the film itself garnered interest in how Roman gladiators performed. Majority of them were slaves. A lot of them would fight for their freedom, especially in the basilicas here in Caerwent. And the big question is, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Right, this is not very Roman, I know, but there is something here. If the church is open and we can find it, there is something here that is Roman. I do want to find it. It's only little. You can see it stands out from the rest of the church as well. But I think the church is open, so I might see to let us in and have a look. Here we are. This is the Paulinus stone. There's two of them. There's one also by here in this church entrance. It's one of the few things that's remaining Roman.
and it has Latin inscription. Here you go. Claudius Paulinus, or Tiberius Claudius Paulinus, was part of the Augustan legion which was stationed at Caerwent. But his Caracalla, who was the actual emperor, was his twin in Gladiator 2 as well. So if you know in popular culture that name, he is, I think Joseph Quinn plays him in Gladiator 2. But this was during his reign when he was the Emperor of Rome. And this was gifted to the church. You can see this is probably some parts of old Roman structures here as well. But this is one of the few remains of Rome left here in Caerwent. So, last bit we're going to look at now, the shops, which is one of the few remaining things. But we're going to look at the post-Roman era of Caerwent before we head there, and then we'll round off the video there. So far, you've seen a lot of what remains of British Rome. So let's head there right now. The Roman legions pulled out of Wales in 383 by Emperor Magnus Maximus. On the formation of the Kingdom of Gwent, Caerwent was the centre of the area, mainly due to it being an old Roman town. Christianity took over, and Caerwent is believed to be the birthplace of Irish Saint Patrick. Fast forward to World War II, Caerwent was the home of the Royal Navy propellant factory, but after that was closed, excavations of the old Roman ruins would be unearthed, which will create this beautiful Roman town. Welcome to the Roman shops. No poundlands here, nothing like that. Just a little marketplace where they would have got their vegetables and their meats. Until they have another items like pottery. Romans are very big on their pottery. You can see the beautiful shapes of the buildings, the architecture the Romans had. Really revolutionised how building was made, and when the Dark Ages hit, everything was reversed because everyone wanted to get rid of the Romans and the Byzantine styles. But you can see by here, I have a bit of a wander, that there is a lot going on. Almost like little stalls. You can see there's a little bit of an opening by here actually. It's a bit of a hole in the ground by here. Could this be like almost like a well section for the Romans? We never know. We'll carry on exploring the rest of it now. But here we are. This is the last bit of the shops I'm going to show you before we head out of here to end the video. But yeah, they're quite big little areas, these shops, to say the least. The Romans did something really well. But here we are. This is the end of it. It's been an eventful one. I fell over, got covered in mud, but you have learned a little bit about Roman Wales, a little bit more. If you do want to learn more and see other Roman stuff, I have got the Cambria Legion short documentary you can watch, and my exploring video from a couple of years ago at Caerwent. They're all available to watch on my channel. I'll link them below. But I'll see you in the next one, and enjoy. And I'm going to have a shower.
All'osciaron the level